I always loved old houses with their history and character, but I never imagined that my fascination would lead me to the most haunting experience of my life. It all began when I moved into a century-old Victorian house that stood tall and imposing on the edge of a quiet town. The realtor assured me that the house had been well maintained, but there was an air of mystery that surrounded it. The creaking floorboards, the ancient attic, and the strange symbols etched on the walls intrigued me. Little did I know that these quaint quirks hid something far more sinister. As the days passed, I settled into my new home, slowly uncovering its secrets. It was on a moonlit night that the whispers began. At first I dismissed them as the wind or my imagination playing tricks on me, but as the nights wore on, the whispers grew clearer, and they seemed to come from the attic. One evening, curiosity got the better of me. Armed with a flashlight, I climbed the narrow staircase leading to the attic. The air was musty, and dust particles danced in the beam of light. As I reached the top, I noticed a peculiar symbol etched on the attic door. It seemed ancient, an emblem of something long forgotten. With trepidation, I pushed the door open, revealing a space filled with forgotten relics of the past. Old trunks, dusty books, and eerie portraits adorned the attic. But what caught my attention was an ornate wooden box in the corner, its lid adorned with strange carvings. A sense of foreboding washed over me, but I couldn't resist the allure of the box. I carefully lifted the lid, and as I did, the whispers grew louder, almost like a chorus of anguished voices. Inside the box, I found a collection of old photographs and a weathered journal. Curiosity overcame my fear, and I began reading the journal's pages. The entries spoke of a dark ritual performed by the house's previous owner, a man obsessed with unlocking the secrets of the afterlife. He had dabbled in forbidden arts, believing that he could communicate with the spirits that dwelled beyond the veil. As I read on, the whispers intensified, and a cold chill enveloped the attic. I felt as if I was being watched by unseen eyes. Fear gnawed at my sanity, but I couldn't tear myself away from the haunting words written in that journal. The more I read, the more I sensed a malevolent presence surrounding me. The attic seemed to come alive with unseen entities, their whispers echoing in my mind. I realized with dread that the previous owner's dark experiments had left an indelible mark on the house, and now I had unwittingly opened a portal to the other side. Terrified, I closed the journal and placed it back in the box. As I did, the whispers ceased, but an overwhelming feeling of dread lingered. I knew I had to rid the house of this malevolent presence, but I had no idea how to do it. The following days were filled with an unshakable sense of unease. Strange occurrences became the norm, objects moving on their own, cold spots that defied explanation, and haunting apparitions that flashed before my eyes. Desperate for answers, I sought the help of a local historian who knew about the house's dark history. He revealed that the previous owner's obsession with the occult had unleashed a malevolent spirit that now haunted the house. With the historian's guidance, we performed a ritual to banish the entity back to where it came from. The air crackled with energy and the house seemed to resist the cleansing. But with a final surge of determination, we succeeded, and a sense of peace washed over the old Victorian. In the weeks that followed, the house returned to its serene self, and the whispers in the attic faded into nothingness. But the memory of that haunting encounter will forever stay with me, a reminder that some mysteries are best left undisturbed, and that the unseen can be far more terrifying than anything we can comprehend. It was a seemingly ordinary evening when I received an intriguing email that would change my life forever. The sender remained anonymous, but the promise of an otherworldly experience piqued my curiosity. The email contained coordinates to a remote location, along with a single sentence: "Prepare to confront your deepest fears." My heart raced as I followed the coordinates deep into the heart of an ancient forest. The path grew narrower, and the oppressive darkness loomed around me. A chill ran down my spine, but I pressed forward, driven by an inexplicable compulsion. After what felt like an eternity of trudging through the wilderness, I arrived at a clearing. Before me stood an imposing stone structure, the labyrinth of shadows. Its eerie silhouette seemed to breathe with a life of its own, and an unsettling aura surrounded it. I hesitated for a moment, contemplating whether to heed the mysterious invitation or retreat to the safety of the familiar. As if pulled by an unseen force, I entered the labyrinth. The walls of the structure seemed to shift and morph, creating an ever-changing maze that confounded my senses. An unsettling hush enveloped me, the only sound being the echo of my footsteps against the cold stone floor. It wasn't long before I encountered my first glimpse of the horrors that awaited. Ethereal whispers filled the air, and faint shadows danced in the corners of my vision. I shook off the eerie sensation, chalking it up to an overactive imagination. The labyrinth seemed to feed on my deepest fears, conjuring vivid memories of the past. I found myself reliving painful moments, reawakening old wounds that had long been buried. Guilt, regret, and sorrow washed over me like a tidal wave. I couldn't escape the maze's relentless grip, as each turn only led me deeper into its grasp. The line between reality and illusion blurred, and I questioned my sanity. Time lost its meaning, and the distinction between day and night became indistinguishable. As I delved deeper into the labyrinth, a profound sense of dread washed over me. The shadows seemed to come alive, twisting and contorting into monstrous shapes. I caught fleeting glimpses of ghastly apparitions, and their haunting visages sent shivers down my spine. The air grew heavier, charged with an unnatural energy. The labyrinth became a nightmarish realm, testing the boundaries of my sanity. I encountered malevolent spirits and entities that seemed to delight in tormenting me. Haunted by my deepest fears and the relentless onslaught of terror, I knew I had to find a way out. The labyrinth had become a prison of my own mind, and I fought to break free from its clutches. Panic gnawed at me, and I stumbled through the shifting corridors, each step becoming more uncertain than the last. At the brink of despair, I stumbled upon an ancient inscription on the stone walls. The words were cryptic, but I deciphered a glimmer of hope. The key to escaping the labyrinth lay within myself. I had to confront my fears head-on, acknowledge their existence, and find the strength to let go. Summoning every ounce of courage within me, I faced my inner demons. The labyrinth seemed to react to my newfound resolve, resisting my attempts to break free. But I persisted, determined to reclaim control over my mind and emotions. With each fear I acknowledged, the labyrinth weakened its grip. Shadows dissipated, and the haunting whispers fell silent. I realized that the true horror lay not in the maze itself, but in my own fears, insecurities, and doubts. As the first rays of sunlight pierced through the labyrinth's dark interior, I emerged from the depths of the maze. Exhausted and shaken, I found myself back in the clearing where my journey began. The structure of the labyrinth of shadows had vanished, leaving no trace of its existence. I took a deep breath, feeling a newfound sense of liberation and clarity. The experience had been more than just a terrifying encounter. It was a journey of self-discovery and catharsis. The labyrinth had forced me to confront my darkest aspects, helping me break free from the shackles of my own fears. As I made my way back to the outside world, I knew that my life would never be the same again. The labyrinth of shadows had left an indelible mark on my soul, a reminder that we are all haunted by our past and our inner demons. But I had also learned that true courage lies not in avoiding fear, but in embracing it and finding the strength to move forward despite it. The labyrinth of shadows was more than just a terrifying ordeal. It was a testament to the resilience of the human spirit and the transformative power of facing our fears head-on. It was an unexpected invitation that arrived in my mailbox, a worn parchment sealed with a crimson wax emblem. The message inside was cryptic, an invitation to an exclusive gathering at an old manor on the outskirts of town. The sender's name was absent, but a foreboding curiosity tugged at my conscience, urging me to attend. As I approached the manor on the night of the gathering, an eerie sensation gripped my heart. The moon cast an ethereal glow on the ancient structure, its darkened windows resembling hollow eyes staring back at me. A sense of unease crept over me, but I forced myself to proceed. The grand wooden doors creaked open as if inviting me in, and the echoes of my footsteps resonated through the empty corridors. Guests clad in masks whispered among themselves. their identities concealed in the dim light. I sensed an air of anticipation, as if something ominous was about to unfold. The manor's interior was adorned with faded tapestries and antique furniture, giving it an aura of lost grandeur. As the night progressed, unsettling encounters and peculiar events unfolded. Doors slammed shut on their own, and chilling drafts wafted through seemingly closed-off rooms. I attributed it to the old building's peculiarities, but the inexplicable occurrences only intensified. The grand ballroom, adorned with flickering candles, was the epicenter of the gathering. As I mingled with the massed guests, I caught snippets of hushed conversations, whispers that seemed to materialize from the shadows themselves. My attempts to uncover the secrets of the gathering were met with evasive responses and nervous glances. As the clock struck midnight, the atmosphere shifted. A hushed reverence settled upon the guests as they gathered in a circle. A mysterious figure led the proceedings, a medium who claimed to possess a connection to the spirit world. The séance began, and a haunting chant echoed through the room. The air grew heavy with anticipation, and a sudden chill enveloped me. As the medium invoked the spirits, a sense of dread washed over me, and I felt an unseen presence lurking in the shadows. With every word spoken, the atmosphere crackled with an otherworldly energy. An unbidden fear gripped my soul, and I could sense that something beyond the realm of the living was awakening. The candles flickered wildly, casting grotesque shadows on the walls. In the dim light, I caught a glimpse of a spectral figure hovering at the edge of the room. Its form was indistinct, a shifting mass of darkness and despair. Panic surged within me, but I remained rooted to the spot, unable to tear my gaze away from the apparition. As the séance continued, the entity's malevolent presence intensified. A chorus of disembodied voices echoed in my mind, urging me to flee. My heart raced as I attempted to make my way to the exit, but the manor seemed to have transformed into a labyrinth, its corridors twisting and leading me deeper into its grasp. I stumbled through the darkness, the whispers growing louder, mocking my futile attempts to escape. Fear gnawed at my sanity, and I felt as though I had entered a nightmarish maze from which there was no escape. Determined not to succumb to the terror that threatened to consume me, I faced the entity head-on. Summoning my courage, I demanded to know its intentions and why it had lured us to this forsaken gathering. The room fell silent, and the entity's presence seemed to retreat slightly. In a chilling voice that reverberated through my mind, it spoke of lost souls and the tormented past of the manor. It was a tale of betrayal, revenge, and an insatiable thirst for justice. Driven by compassion and empathy, I pleaded with the entity to find peace and release its grip on the manor and its inhabitants. The whispers softened, and the malevolent energy waned, revealing a glimmer of sorrow beneath its dark exterior. In an act of defiance against its own torment, the entity agreed to find solace and move on from its restless existence. As the first light of dawn painted the horizon, the haunting atmosphere began to dissipate, and the manor returned to its silent slumber. As I stepped outside, the first rays of sunlight bathed the manor in a golden glow, and the weight of the night's events slowly lifted from my shoulders. Although the gathering had ended, the memory of that night would forever remain etched in my mind. Months passed, and the manor became a place of whispered legends, a haunting tale recounted by those who had been brave enough to attend. I often wondered if the entity had truly found peace, or if its presence still lingered in the shadows of the old manor. It was an idyllic summer weekend when my friends and I decided to venture into the remote woods for a camping trip. The allure of disconnecting from the bustling city and immersing ourselves in nature was too tempting to resist. Little did we know that our peaceful getaway would soon turn into a nightmare. As we trekked deeper into the heart of the forest, an eerie silence enveloped us. The trees stood tall and imposing, their branches intertwining like ancient guardians. My friends and I exchanged nervous glances, wondering if there was more to these woods than met the eye. As night descended upon us, a strange unease settled in the air. The crackling campfire offered little comfort against the shadows that seemed to dance at the edge of our vision. I couldn't shake the feeling of being watched, as if unseen eyes were peering at us from the darkness. As we huddled around the campfire, strange noises began to echo through the forest. The rustling of leaves and distant whispers sent shivers down our spines. I brushed off the unease as mere imagination, but it was impossible to ignore the growing sense of foreboding. In the dead of night, a loud thud jolted us awake. One of my friends was missing, leaving behind only an empty sleeping bag. Panic surged through us as we called out their name into the darkness, but there was no response. It was as if they had vanished without a trace. With the first light of dawn, we formed a search party to find our missing friend. The forest had transformed overnight, and every tree seemed like a sinister guardian hiding secrets within its gnarled branches. Our footsteps echoed eerily through the woods as we ventured further into the unknown. As we combed through the underbrush, an otherworldly presence seemed to fill the air. The forest felt alive with an ancient energy, and I sensed that we were trespassing in a realm not meant for human eyes. Whispers and soft cries echoed around us, causing us to question our sanity. Exhausted and terrified, we stumbled upon a clearing, and that's when the real nightmare began. My friends and I were plagued by haunting visions of our past sins and regrets. Shadows danced before our eyes, reflecting our deepest fears and insecurities. With each passing moment, the enchanted woods seemed to tighten its grip on us. We realized that we were trapped in a malevolent realm, and the only way to escape was to confront our fears head-on. Braving the haunting visions, we embraced our past mistakes and found the strength to let go. As we finally emerged from the depths of the enchanted woods, we were forever changed by the harrowing experience. The forest had exposed our vulnerabilities and tested our resilience, leaving us with haunting memories that would never fade. To this day, I can't help but wonder about the mysterious woods and the unsettling presence that lurked within. The eyes that watched us from the shadows continue to haunt my dreams, a reminder that some secrets are best left undisturbed, and the woods hold mysteries that are better left unexplored.